can all of you see this? Is this viewable?
Yes.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah. Yes, all right. Okay, so I think it's 1 minute to 9:10, so I think we can start already. Okay. A very good morning to all of you. This is as Andrew mentioned this morning, is a very sunny Sunday, right? So I hope everyone is having a good weekend. And for those of you who are here, can you please mute your mic as I go through this presentation, okay? And for this workshop, this is actually the first workshop that kicks off the postgraduate series for the year 2021, right? And what I will be briefing all of you on this morning is that we are mainly going to touch on the writing style of UMS, which is the latest version in 2020, as well as the formatting guidelines. Yeah, so this is actually a very technical workshop. Yeah, because we are going to cover things like margins, font size, font types, alignments, and so on, right? So for those postgraduate students, it is important that you take part in this workshop because there are a few common mistakes that students do when compiling their thesis or dissertation, right? And if they're undergraduate students here with us as well, it will also be good for you to know what is expected of you when you do your thesis or dissertation later on, right? So for this workshop, all right, so my name is Debbra Toria Nipo, all right? So I will be, as I mentioned earlier, we are mainly going to touch on the technical aspects of writing your thesis or dissertation, okay? So the registration link is on the chat box. You can proceed recording your attendance for this workshop, yeah? Right? So this is the general outline or overview of what we are going to cover in this workshop, okay? So first, we are going to start off with structure of thesis or dissertation, all right? And then we're going to move into the general technical aspects, followed by the formatting of hardcover and title page, supplementary pages, chapter and main text, tables and figures, and we will conclude this session with in-text citation and references, all right? Now, I'm not, for this last section here, in-text citation and references, I'm not going to touch a lot on this because I believe there should be a separate session on in-text citation and references because there is a long list, there's a long exhaustive list of examples that you have to follow for citation and references. So for this part, I'm just going to touch the basic, just on the surface of what you have to do when you cite, when you do in-text citation and also references, right? If there is any question that you would like to ask on this, I would prefer that you keep your questions at the end of the session, and I will try my best to answer each one of them, all right? Or you can also drop them in the chat box, all right? Okay, so the structure of thesis or dissertation, yeah? Now, these are the contents, these are the what is required to be included in your thesis or dissertation, yeah? And they should be arranged in the following sequence or manner, right? So first thing first, you would have to have your title page, all right? And then followed by declaration, certification, acknowledgement, abstract in English, if you are doing your thesis or dissertation in English, all right? And then you should also have a translated version of your abstract. All right. Now, this translated version has to be in Bahasa Malaysia and it has to be italic, right? And we will have a sample on this later on, yeah, in case some of you are still not sure of how to do this. And then we have a table of contents, list of tables, list of figures, abbreviations, appendices, and followed by the main text, which is your main chapters, chapter 1 until chapter 5. And then followed by references and appendices, if any, yeah? Appendices, this is actually the plural form of appendix. Yeah. So if you only have one appendix, so you should just use appendix. If you have more, then you use appendices. Yeah. All right. So these are the general technical aspects. All right. So this is what you have to make sure that you would use this consistently from one end to the other end of your thesis or dissertation. Okay. So language, the only two languages that are permitted is either Bahasa Malaysia or English. Okay. Should you use any terms in foreign language, maybe in Latin and whatnot, this foreign language should be in italic. Yeah, you have to italic them. All right. Font type, Tahoma all the way through. No Times New Roman, no Arial, no other font. Yeah, it has to be Tahoma. All right. Except in parts involving scientific symbols. Now, symbols are commonly found in when you do your regression models and so on. So these are okay. But the rest, your main text should be typed in font type Tahoma. Okay. And then your font size, size 14 for chapter titles, all right, your main chapters, chapter 1 and so on. Size 11 for headings, subheadings, and your main text, okay? And size 9 for footnotes and endnotes, okay? Next, the first paragraph should start at the left margin, no indentation. So when you start your main text and you have several paragraphs, your first paragraph should start at the very left margin. You should not indent it, okay? And then the next, second or third or more paragraphs should begin after one indent from the left margin. So this one indent is actually ½ inch, yeah? That is a one tap. You press one tap button. So that's where your sentence should begin, after one tap, okay? And your page numbers, they should be aligned center at the bottom of each page. We have seen also students committing even on this particular aspect, yeah, they put their page numbers, they aligned it on the right when it should be at the center, yeah, at the center and at the bottom of each page, okay? And as for the margins, these are the general ones, all right? Left margin, 38 millimeter from the left edge, okay? The rest of the margins, right, top and bottom, should be 28 millimeter from their respective edges, okay? And color of text is black, right? All right, okay. So for hardcover and title page, okay, so are all of you following me? Is there anything that you're not clear of so far?
Clear, madam.
Clear, Doctor.
Yeah. All right, okay. Should you have any question, you can just stop me, or maybe if my voice gets stuck, you should also inform me lah, right? Now for hardcover and title page, this is the first hardcover is the front cover, yeah? And the title page is the page that comes after your hardcover page, all right? Now your thesis or dissertation title must be typed in bold, uppercase, font Tahoma size 18, okay? Uppercase means capital letters, yeah? All the letters should be in capital form, all right? And your title must be aligned center between the left and right margins, all right? And you use single spacing should you have titles that are long and requires more than one line, okay? And for thesis or dissertation title, you are also not allowed to use abbreviated words in the title. Now, abbreviated words mean acronyms or short forms, okay? Let's say ICT. You cannot use the term ICT in your title. You would have to spell them out in full. In this case, it's information and communication technologies, right? So don't use acronyms, don't use short forms. You have to spell everything out in full, right, for your title. And then your name of candidate, name of faculty, and year must be typed in bold, uppercase, font Tahoma size 18. So this is actually similar to your thesis title just now, all right? And top and bottom margins, 60 millimeter from the top and bottom edge. Okay, so these are the only margins that you have to follow, 60 millimeter from the top and from the bottom, right? Now this is the sample hardcover and title page. Okay, so on your left here is your hardcover page, and on your right is your title page, the page that comes after your hardcover. Okay, now notice that in both pages, the top and the bottom margins are 60 millimeter from their edges. Okay, and then for the text, which is your title, your name, your faculty, university, and the year, should be typed in font Tahoma size 18, uppercase, meaning all capital letters, bold, center, and single spacing. All right, single spacing. Now for this title page, I have written here, dissertation submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the degree of Master of Economics. Now, if you are doing MECONS, Master of Economics, here should be dissertation, yeah? Now, if you're doing MBA or MHCM, all right, here should be business research project. This workshop just, right? Here should be business research project, all right? So dissertation for MECONS, business research project for MBA and MHCM, okay? And thesis only for fully research students, okay? So it depends on what degree you're doing. So if you're not sure, you can just ask your supervisor, or you can also ask me later on, okay? So MECONS dissertation, MBA and MHCM is a business research project, all right? Thesis research, master by research, or PhD by research. All right, so after your hardcover and title page, you will be your supplementary pages will come next. All right. Now these supplementary pages consist of declaration, certification, acknowledgement, abstract, table of content, list of tables, figures, abbreviations, and appendices. All right. Now for these supplementary pages, the title should be typed in bold, uppercase, Tahoma font size 14, align at center, and use single spacing. Only for the title, yeah. And then for the main text, they should be typed in Tahoma font size 11, single spacing, and justified. All right. For the margins, top, bottom, and right is 28 millimeter from their respective edges. And from the left margin, there should be 38 millimeter from the left edge. Okay, so left margin is the one that you have to put more, yeah, 38 millimeter. The rest is 28 millimeter. Okay. For the page numbering, you should also include page numbering in your supplementary pages, yeah? And they should be indicated with lowercase Roman numerals in the correct sequence, right? In this case, 1, 2, 3, in Roman numerals, yeah? Now the first title page, just now the page that comes after your hardcover page, is actually regarded as the first page, page 1, but the page number are not indicated. It should be hidden, okay? So meaning after your title page is page 1, and then what comes next is your declaration. So declaration should be page 2, and that page number should be indicated, right? Only title page is where the page number should be hidden or not indicated, right? So these are the examples, yeah? Sample, declaration, and certification, okay? Now, on your left, you have declaration, and on your right, you have your certification, okay? So for both pages, the margins are the same. You have 28 millimeter from the top, right, and bottom, okay? And on the left, you have 38 millimeter, okay? And for the title, the declaration and certification title, it should be typed in Tahoma size 14, uppercase, bold, and center. Okay. And for the main text, in this case, these are your main text for declaration, and these are your main text for certification. They should be typed in Tahoma size 11, single spacing, and justified. All right. Sample acknowledgement. Again, this is also similar. The margins are the same as the previous one, as for the rest of the supplementary pages. And same goes to the formatting of the title, also size 14, uppercase, bold, center. Now for your main text, all right, in general, also the same, Tahoma size 11, single spacing justified. Now, should you have a very long acknowledgement in which you have probably several paragraphs, okay, as I mentioned earlier in the general technical aspects, first paragraph, no indent. So you will start at the very left margin here, okay? And then the second and subsequent paragraph, you should start with a single tap, after a single tap on your left, all right? So once you have pressed one tap, that is where your sentence should begin, okay? So make sure first paragraph, no indent, second paragraph, one tap, okay? Half-inch indent here, okay? Now for sample abstracts, if you're doing your thesis or dissertation in English, you should have your original abstract here in English on your left, and the translated version of your abstract on the right. Okay, the margins are the same as previous one. Right, the only left margin is 38 millimeter from the edge, and the rest is 28 millimeter. Okay. And the title of the abstract should be Tahoma size 14, uppercase, bold, center, right? And then for the main text, Tahoma size 11, single spacing, justified. Okay, so these are actually the same with your translated version of your abstract in Bahasa Malaysia. The only thing that you have to add on, and what most students actually forgot to do, is this title here, the translated version of your research title in Bahasa Malaysia. Okay, so you have to put your title as well, yeah, your title in BM. All right, now this title should be written in Tahoma size 11, uppercase, everything capital letter, bold, center. All right, and then only you put in your abstract, the translated version, and your keywords also translated version. All right, so the rest are actually the same. What I would like to highlight on is your title here. Some students, they just put abstract and go straight to your main content here, main text here. Okay, so don't forget to put in your title, yeah. And as for the numbering, okay, the numbers should be typed in Roman numeral, yeah, page number, and lowercase align center. This is also quite a few students who also did a mistake here. They are correct in terms of using Roman numerals, but they're using uppercase. Okay, so you have to use lowercase, yeah, not uppercase. Okay. Now these are the sample table of content and list of tables. I only put list of tables here, yeah. Now this list of tables are actually applicable for list of figures. You have list of appendices and list of abbreviations. Okay, so I just put one here, which is list of tables. Now, for both pages, table of content and list of tables, the margins are remain the same. All right, you have 28 millimeter from the top, right, and bottom margins, and your left margin should be 38 millimeter from the left edge. Okay, again, similarly as in previous supplementary pages, your title, your table of content, title, and list of tables here should be typed in Tahoma size 14, uppercase, bold, and center. All right, so everything should be capital letters. Main text, Tahoma size 11, single spacing for both. Right, so these are the same. What I would like to bring your attention to is this spacing in between your main sections here. Okay, so you are actually allowed to have a 1.5 spacing just to keep your main sections apart from each other. All right. Now, list of appendices is the last list that you would include in your supplementary pages. Yeah. So after that, you begin with your chapter 1 introduction. So for table of content, you are allowed to have a 1.5 spacing here. Okay. And then same goes to the spaces between your chapters. Okay. You have chapter 1 and chapter 2 here. So here you are also allowed to have a 1.5 spacing. All right. And then same goes to when you your final chapter, between your final chapter and references. Now, assuming in this example, chapter 2 is my last chapter, yeah, but of course, in reality, you have until chapter 5. So between chapter 5 and references, you are also allowed to have a 1.5 spacing. Okay. And one more thing, when doing your table of content, you should also list out your title. Okay. There are also cases where we see students they leave out title and they start with declaration. All right. So you should always start with your title page. Okay, and your page is indicated as 1 in Roman numerals. Then only it is followed by the rest of the supplementary pages, declaration, certification, and whatnot. Okay, so this portion, the pages should be typed in Roman numerals. Okay, and for main text should be typed in Arabic numerals. In this case, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay. All right, so chapter and main text. Okay, now this is where you there are a lot of guidelines and styles and margins that you have to follow in this particular section, yeah, for chapter and main text. Okay, so for chapter, for your title of chapter, it should be typed in bold, uppercase, all capital letters. Tahoma, font size 14, align at center, and use single spacing for titles requiring more than 1 line. All right. And then for title of headings and subheadings, in this case, 1.1, 1.2, and so on, it should be typed in bold, lowercase, Tahoma font size 11, and you should capitalize the first letter of each word. Okay. Capitalize the first letter of each word, except for prepositions such as at, on, by, and so on. All right. And your title of headings and subheadings should be aligned to the left and use single spacing. All right. For main text, as usual, Tahoma font size 11, 1.5 spacing, and justified. So just now, for your supplementary pages, you are to use single spacing, 1.0 spacing. Yeah. Now for when you're doing your chapter, the main text in your chapter, everything should be written with 1.5 spacing. Okay, no longer 1.0 spacing. 1.0 spacing only for your headings and also your chapter here, right? And the first paragraph also, after the title and the subtitle, begins from the left margin without indentation. Okay, first paragraph, no indentation. The next paragraph, the second, third, and fourth, and so on, should begin with an indent of 1/2 inch. Okay, like I said earlier, there's roughly a 1 tap. You press 1 tap button from your left margin. Then after that, then only you begin your sentences. All right. Okay, so chapter title should begin with headings such as chapter 1, chapter 2, and so on. All right. Your main heading, your first degree heading of the chapter should begin with a 2-digit number. Okay. In this case, 1.1, 2.1, 3.1, and so on. All right. That's our first degree heading. Subheadings, second degree headings. Okay. which is used to begin a subsection should not be indicated with a number consisting of more than 3 integers separated by full stops. Okay, so you only have up to 3 integers separated by 2 full stops in between. Okay, example 1.1.1, 1.1.2, and so on. Okay, now should you have more subheadings than your second degree headings, okay, in this case you have third degree subheadings, you should not do it like this. Yeah, hold on, let me just show you. This is by right the maximum that you can go. Okay, the furthest you can go 1.1, only 3 integers. Okay, 1, 2, 3 integers here. Okay, if you have more, meaning third degree subheadings, you should not write it like this. Yeah, 1.1, 0.1.1. Okay, this is actually already wrong. Okay, you will have to present it using this way. All right, it should be added with small letters such as ABC or 1, 2, 3 in Roman numerals. All right, so I'll just show you the example, yeah, in case you are not able to imagine how does it look like. Okay, so this is example of third degree subheadings. Okay, so this is the furthest you can go. There should not be 1.1.1.1. Okay, this is already wrong. Okay, if you have more subheadings here, present it as A, B, C, and so on, or 1, 2, 3, and so on. Right? This is how you should do your subheadings for, especially for third degree subheadings. Okay. All right. Now for your margins. This is also another common mistake that students usually do. Maybe some of you did not notice the differences. Yeah. So we actually have different page margins for the first page and the subsequent pages, page 2 and more after your first page. Okay. Now for the first page of each main chapter, okay, your margin should be 28 millimeter from the top and from the right. All right. And then for your bottom margin and your left margin, there should be 38 millimeter from the bottom edge and 38 millimeter from the left edge. Right? So this, what students normally do, their bottom margin is also 28 millimeter. So it should be 38 millimeter just for the first page. Okay? Only for the first page. Right? And then margins of subsequent pages, page 2 and more after your first page in each main chapter, then only you follow the general margin that we use throughout the thesis or dissertation. Top, bottom, right, 28 millimeter, and only left margin is a 38 millimeter. Okay, so I've highlighted this in red so you can see the differences between these two pages. Okay, so first page, bottom left 38 millimeter, page 2 and more, the subsequent pages only left 38 millimeter. Yeah. Page numbering for pages in the main text should be indicated with Arabic numerals. In this case, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay. And the number of the first page in each main chapter should also be hidden. Now, this is the same as the title page earlier. Okay. They should not, the page number are not indicated. Okay. And this is the same for the first page of each main chapter. You should not indicate the page number in your first page of each main chapter. Okay, so I will just show you the samples. All right, so this is the sample chapter and main text. All right, so I have included the first page of the chapter and the second page of the same chapter on your right. Okay, now for the first page of your chapter on the left here, the margins are 28 millimeter from the top and from the right. Okay, and from the left you have 38 millimeter, and also from the bottom you have 38 millimeter. So those are the margins. Okay, and if you look at your second page here, what changes is the margin for your bottom. Okay, first page is 38 millimeter. Second and subsequent pages is 28 millimeter, right? And the rest are the same. Okay. Now for your first page, your chapter 1 title here and your introduction, it should be typed in Tahoma size 14, uppercase, bold, center, right? And then the spaces between chapter 1 and introduction here, you are allowed to have 2 times 1.5 spacing. So which means you press your enter button twice, 2 times, okay? And the spaces between introduction and your first subheading here, background of study, you are to have 3 times 1.5 spacing, okay? Which means you press the enter button 3 times, all right? Now your headings should also be in bold, 1.1, background of study, okay? And before you start the paragraph, the main text of your subheadings, there should also be a 1.5 spacing here in between, which means you press your enter button one time, okay? Right. Now the first paragraph here, as I mentioned earlier, first paragraph should start with no indentation. Okay, it should start at the very left margin. Okay, do not indent it. All right, and then the second and third or more paragraph, then only you press a single tab. You have one indent on the left. After that indent, then only you start your sentence. Okay, so these are for the second and the rest of the subsequent paragraphs. Okay, and the spaces between the paragraphs should also have a 1.5 spacing. Okay, you press your enter button once, right? So that's for the first page. Okay, and also before I forget, there should not be a page number here. Okay, do not indicate the page number here. It should be hidden. All right. Now for the second page, once you start a new subheading, there should also be space in between, yeah, of your final paragraph of the previous subheading and the new subheading, right? So there should be a 2 times 1.5 spacing, yeah. You press the enter button twice, okay? And then the rest are the same, right? Here, 2.5 spacing as well because you are starting a new subheading, right? And then your page number should be indicated in this second page, right? And the page number should be typed in Arabic numeral page and align center, right? First page, do not indicate the page number. Second page and the subsequent pages, you have to indicate their page number, right? Now the main text, as usual, Tahoma size 11, 1.5 spacing and justified, okay? So you have to make sure that you justify all your main text so that they are evenly distributed in between your left and right margins. Okay, so that's for sample chapter and main text. Yeah. Now for tables and figures, these two tables and figures, there are cases where I've seen that they mix up the labeling of these two things, tables and figures. They're actually not the same, all right? We will look into it later with the samples, yeah? Now for the title of the both tables and figures, they should be typed in bold, Tahoma font size 11, right? And the tables or figures should be numbered using 2 integers separated by a full stop. In this case, the example given is 3.1, all right? Now the first integer 3 here represents the number of the main chapter, right? So if you put 3.1 here, we should know that straight away it refers to a table or a figure that belongs to chapter 3, okay? And the second integer, 1, after your decimal point here refers to the sequential number of the tables, figures, or photos. Okay, so it depends on how you arrange your tables and figures. So it should be arranged in an orderly manner. Yeah, follow the right sequence. All right. Now for tables, this is specifically for tables. Yeah, table title must be placed at the top and center of the table. Top and center, yeah, the title of the table. And the table sources must be placed at the bottom, a line left of the table. Right. So table sources at the bottom, a line left of the table. Okay. Now sources from authors on personal work do not need to be cited. Right. You only include the sources of your title when you source it from another website or journal and so on. Okay. If you are creating a table, let's say for your results and whatnot, you do not have to put in your table sources. Okay. Now for figures, figure title must be placed at the bottom left of the figure. Bottom left, huh? There's no table at the top and center. For figures, bottom left of the figure. Yeah. Figure sources also must be aligned left below the figure title. Okay. So these are the differences here on how you label these two things between tables and figures, right? So this is the sample, okay? So the margins are the same as usual. Now look at this table at the top here, table 1.1 here. The title here is placed at the top and center, yeah? This is at the top and center of the table, and it should be typed in bold, okay? And the table source should be placed at the bottom left of the table. Bottom left here, bottom of the table, and at the left of the table here. Okay? And for figures, for figure title, what some students normally did is that they put their figure title at the top, just like table here. It's actually wrong. Okay? For figures, you have to place your title at the bottom left of the figure. Bottom left, not bottom center. It's bottom left of the figure, and then you bold it, right? And then your figure source should be placed below the title and align left. Okay? So these are the differences, yeah? Table title on top, figure title at the bottom. Okay? Table title center top, figure title bottom left, right? Okay, so for this part, in-text citation and references, as I mentioned earlier during the first slide just now, during the overview, will not be touching too much on this because there should be a separate session on this. Okay, so I will just highlight the important ones, yeah, the main examples, right? Now for in-text citation, we have also noticed that some students are not citing their sources or the authors correctly. Okay, now for in-text citation, we have two types of placement, yeah, of the citation. Now look at the first one, placement in the middle or at the end of the sentences. Okay, when you cite authors, when you cite a research work in the middle or at the end of the sentences, for one author, it should be open bracket, surname of the author, cap, comma, and year of the publication, 2006, and then you close bracket, right? So this is for when you place the research work in the middle or at the end of the sentences, right? For two authors, open bracket, Riley and Ken, comma, 2018, close bracket, right? Now for more than two authors, if you are citing them for the first time, meaning the authors appear or are mentioned for the first time in your thesis or dissertation, you should do it this way, yeah? Open bracket, Kev, comma, Riley, and Ken, comma, 2020, close bracket, right? If you are citing them for the second time, the same authors, for the second time and more, it should be open bracket, Kev, et al, comma, 2020, close bracket. Okay, now this et al, this is another small mistake that students did. They always leave it, it should be italic, yeah? You should italic this et al, right? So et al dot comma 2020. Okay, so this is citation for the second time. First time, just include all their surnames in full. And the second time and more, only put the first author's surname and then followed by et al, comma 2020. Okay? So this is for the placement in the middle or at the end of the sentences. In this case, the surnames of the authors are presented inside the bracket. Okay? Now for placement at the beginning of the sentences, if you are starting your sentences by citing a research work, this is how you should do it, yeah? For one author, Kev, open bracket 2016, close bracket stated that. So only your year is presented in bracket. Unlike here, for placement in the middle or at the end of the sentences, both the surname and the year goes inside the bracket. Okay, but if you are starting your sentences with the name of the authors, only your year is presented in bracket, yeah? So in this case, surname, Kev, open bracket 2016, close bracket, stated that, and so on, okay? For two authors, Riley and Ken, open bracket 2018, close bracket, stated that, right? And then more than two authors, similar with this one just now at the top here. Citation for the first time, meaning you are citing them you are mentioning their names for the first time in your thesis, okay? Kev, Riley, and Ken, 2020 stated that, all right? And then citation for the second time of the same authors, you should put Kev, only the surname of the first author, Kev, et al. Dot 2020 stated that. Again, your et al. Should be in italic, okay? Please remember to italic et al, right? This is, if you remember just now, I think at the second slide, I have mentioned that for foreign language, if you are using a foreign term, you should italic them, okay? So please italic et al. Here, right? So this is for in-text citation, yeah? Now for referencing style should follow the latest APA style, all right? I think we have about, I think the 6th or 7th version, yeah, of APA style. Okay, so this I've included these two main examples. The first one is for journal article, and the second one is for book. Okay, there are actually more examples on this referencing style. All right, you just have to make sure that for journal article, your title here, the name of the journal here, Psychology of Popular Media Culture, your volume 8 and your issue 3 here should be in italic. Okay, not the title of the paper, right? It should be the name of the journal, okay? And then for your book, here, this second example here, the title of the book should be italic, okay? I've also included here for further reference, please head over to the following websites. For in-text citation, this is the website, and for reference examples, this the website that you can look into, yeah? They have a lot of examples for both parts, in-text citation and reference examples as well. I think maybe we will have a separate workshop specifically going through in-text citation and references, yeah? So this is the sample of references, all right? Margins are the same throughout the thesis, 28 millimeter from the top, from the right, and from the bottom margins, and from the left is 38 millimeter, okay? title of the references should be Tahoma size 14, uppercase, bold center. Okay, and the main text should be Tahoma size 11, single spacing. Yeah, for references, single spacing, same as your supplementary pages. Only in your main text and your main chapter, the spacing is 1.5 spacing, right? And also justified. Yeah. So when you arrange your references, right, it should be done in alphabetical order, right, in ascending order. And then if you notice that when you write your references, if it requires more than one line, the first line you start from the left margin, okay, no indentation. And the second and subsequent line, you should start after a single tab, after a single indentation from the left margin. Okay, this is about ½ inch. Yeah, then only you start your second line. All right, and then there are also spaces here, 1.0 spacing in between each of these references. Okay, all right. So this is how you do your references. All right. Okay, so we've come to the end of the session. All right. I hope I have covered everything that you need to know about the latest writing style and formatting guidelines. Okay. In this workshop, I only highlighted the main things that you have to follow. Yeah. If you would like to look at the full list of guidelines, please refer to the document that you can find in our PPI website. Yeah, it's called Gaya Penulisan UMS 2020. I'm not sure if we have it in English version, but for international students, if you are having difficulty to understand, please ask your friends who are Malaysians, yeah, so that they can help to translate it for you, right? So let me just okay. All right. Are you all clear? Do you have any questions? I do not see any question on the chat box here. Can you all do this? Can you all try to perfect the formatting of your thesis or dissertation before you submit? Right? It is actually why is formatting check important? Is because it actually helps to provide a visual appeal to your thesis or dissertation, yeah, because it has to have a professional look or feel to it, right? Now, imagine if you have inconsistencies between font size, font types, you have one big letters at one page and one small letters on the other page. It doesn't look good, right? It also, you have to have a well-formatted thesis or dissertation to actually leave a good impression to your readers. And your readers here would most probably refer to your supervisors or your potential examiners. Yeah, so please follow the writing style and guideline that UMS has detected for all of you. Yeah, for all of you to maintain a clear and consistent format from one end to the other end of your thesis or dissertation. Okay. So you have any questions? Do you have the official updated UMS Gaya guidelines in English? As for now, I don't think we have it in English yet. But Dr. Saizal, we do not have it yet, right?
Madam, I
Yeah.
think we have the Gaya UMS 2020 because I trying to search. I only found 2018.
2018. Okay, never mind. I think I will send it to I will try to email all of you. I will send you the slide as well as the file as well, yeah, so that you all can refer to it when you're doing your thesis. Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Okay,
All
Doctor.
right, no problem. Yep. So Mr. Humberto, I don't think we have it in English yet. Okay, but if you have any questions, you can just ask me. Yeah, if you're not sure, what do the words mean. Okay. right? For the references, the year should be in a bracket, right? Yeah, for the sample that I have extracted is the year is not presented in a bracket, but if I refer to the latest FBEA style, the year should be presented in a bracket actually. But let me just clarify that for you first, and I will double check if we are going to present the year in bracket or not. If it is in bracket, then we will let you all know lah. Okay. Right. Do you have any other questions? Are you all okay? Is this too hard to follow? I don't think it's hard to follow. All right. You have to follow this guideline, yeah? All right. Any other question? No?
No, Doctor. Thank you.
No, okay. So, all right. So, in this case, if there's no more questions, or maybe if you're afraid or shy to ask now, feel free to email me. Wait, let me just drop my email at the chat box. All right. You can just ask me anytime if you're not sure. Okay. Feel free to ask me anytime. I will try my best to answer your questions. Yeah. So we are able to finish it on the dot at exactly 10 a.m. That's what according to the tentative time of this workshop. So I hope everyone gain a few things from this workshop, and please apply it in your thesis or dissertation or your research project. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and have a happy weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.